Sawadee welcome to the Think Pink podcast. Okay, today we've got three little subjects. I'm going to quickly pump through them. It's not going to be a long one. But first of all, please do the like, should be here somewhere, I believe. Comment a little bit lower. Subscribing somewhere here, and over here is the notification bell. Please get behind me on this. My YouTube's doing really well. I'm getting there. Please help me out with this. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. All right, so I've got three little topics for today. First one's a bit of a feel-good story, I guess. I only thought of it today, just coincidentally. I ran into someone who was from that era of my life about half an hour later. But yeah, so I want to talk about doing your best and knowing you've done your best. I was 14 years old playing basketball. I'm still actually a bit of a basketball fan. I like watching it and stuff, shoot hoops here and there, but all I wanted was to be great at basketball. I played my first year of basketball and was absolutely shocking. I played my second year and I had had one really good guy on the team, and then there was like the rest of us. And I absolutely smashed every single game that year. I trained so hard. Like, we just only had like one session a week. It was just like back then they had like church basketball, so every area had their team sort of thing. And I played for Flinders Park, and I tried so hard in every game. I think the most points I scored in a game was 5. I believe it was 1 free throw and 2 2-pointers. But I knew who the guy was who could score, and I'd always be passing to him and assisting him, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, it got to the end of the season, and I think for the year, I don't know how many games it was, but I'd scored probably 20 odd points for the year. But I knew I'd done everything I could, and I was like, I'm going to win MVP. I'm going to get the most valuable player for the team for the year, 100%. No one's tried as hard as I have. Anyway, gets to awards night, and everyone gets their trophies, and then the whole team's on the stage at the church where we did it. And it's like, okay, now we're going to announce the MVP, and I'm like, I've got this. And they announced his name's Dion McCallan, who incidentally ended up becoming a kickboxer in later life as well, and now trains people and stuff as well. But yeah, I was like, how the hell did I not get that? Like, I wasn't disappointed, because I soon realized that all I'd done was my best, and my best wasn't good enough, and that's fine. Like, I was so happy with what I'd done that year. I'd developed so much. I'd tried so hard. I was passing the ball to anyone who needed it. I was complimented every game about how hard I'd played. I got us into the finals on a clutch 2-pointer. Someone passed to me and I threw the shot. It was 1 point down, and it got us 1 point up, and there wasn't enough time for the other team to score again. And everyone just jumped on me. It was cool. It was such a cool experience. I'll remember it for the rest of my life. And that's almost 30 years ago. But just that feeling at the time of seeing how happy everyone was because of something that I'd done. And at the end of the day, someone passed to me, and when they passed to me, I was like, why me? I'm not the shooter. But I knew, as I said, I'd done everything I could that year to be the best I could be. And man, it's okay to not be good enough. I didn't get the MVP, Dion did, and well deserved. He was the best player on the team. He probably achieved the most throughout the year, like the most of, scored the most assists, most everythings. So yeah, it was a cool thing in my life that I'll never forget, just knowing I'd done my best, and that was enough for me. So I've actually written some notes today, which is very, very different for myself. next one I wanted to talk to you about, so topic number 2 is caring about what your trainers think more than what you think and how you feel. It's a very good way of doing it. Like, so for instance, I think I've only got one having their first fight this weekend. I've got another boy who's having his first fight back after a couple of years off. He only ever had one fight. But them going out there and doing what they're told to do, what is expected of them, and then at the end of the fight, not being down on themselves if they lose, or not being too high if they win, being as happy or as angry as I allow. If I'm happy with how you've handled yourself and that you've done the right thing, then you should be happy with yourself. It doesn't matter whether it's a win or a loss. In these amateurs especially, if you've done what is needed and what is expected of you and what I have told you to do, man, hat off to you. You've done the right thing. Be happy with that, especially first fights are for one thing, checking your heart. If you've got the heart for it, you're going to continue and you're going to want to go straight into it. From my side, there's no pressure. If you don't want to go on, no problems. Walk away anytime you want from fighting. It's not a problem at all. People will see, like Brandon's recently told me that he doesn't want to fight on anymore. He's fighting this weekend and then that's it. He doesn't want to fight again. Cool, no worries. Honesty is all I expect. But if I'm happy with how you've performed and you've lost, be happy. If I'm pissed off at you and you've won, man, maybe you should sit back and look at yourself a little bit more. And next time you make those adjustmts to suit what is expected of you. There is no more important person whose approval you need than your trainer. But without believing what your trainer says and then translating that in your own head to self-belief, you get nowhere. Super important lesson. Everyone should be remembering this one. And we'll get on to our third and final topic. It's probably a quick one today. So third and final topic for this week is how to goal set early on. So like I just went, as a follow on from the last one, which is your goal should be making the trainer happy in your amateur fights, because that way you soon learn what's right and what's wrong and what's going to work and what's not. So then your next goal should be to go pro. And by going pro, I mean B class onwards. And B class is with elbow pads, but no other padding. And that shouldn't be a big deal. The reason why you have your amateur fights is because you find your timing, you find your accuracy, you find the things that are going to stop you from ending up super sore after every fight, from kicking inaccurately, kicking all over the place, punching the wrong spots, wearing elbows that you shouldn't be wearing, that kind of stuff. You learn that through your amateur experience. So stepping into going pro and taking the padding off should not be a drama, should not be stressful for you. If you're stressing yourself out about it, you're pedestaling it and you're making life harder for yourself, and you're probably making it that you're not going to enjoy it anymore. So going pro should be your first major goal. Then your next goal should be to fight everyone in your domestic area, like your own, like if you're in Australia, in your state. Beat everyone in your state. It doesn't mean in that time you can't fight outside the state and you can't have other fights, but your goal should be to beat everyone within your state. Whether you think you're better than them, whether you think they're better than you, needs to be your goal. You need to be fighting these people. Clean up your local area before officially moving on. Sometimes you're going to get that one person, the next level's coming up and they're like, we want to challenge them. Okay, take the challenge. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to win a state title to show that, you've reached the pinnacle of your state, but winning a state title does make life easier to help you get onto the next level if you want to be fighting for a national title. Also, it helps with getting recognition, but it doesn't mean that any old person should be fighting for it. Two best guys in the state. If you've fought each other already, the promoters locally should know who's who the two top guys are. Boom, put them together for a state title after they've had a few pro fights. So you can fight each other as amateurs. Then when you go pro, that's where you start. You can fight them all again. It doesn't matter. Then you've got to clean out your local area as a pro, whether it be B class or A class. B class, you shouldn't need any more than 3 fights, unless, for instance, you're a school teacher or something. You don't want to risk getting cut. That's cool. Stay B class. You're not going to get to the level where you'll be able to fight for like a state title or something, because that would have to be A class, like no padding. But that's cool. You can keep the pads on and fight with pads on, whatever. But clean out your local area once you go pro. Then promoters know who the 2 top guys are. If they want to do a state title, they put 2 of those guys together. It doesn't matter if they've already fought in the amateurs, then they fought in the pros as well. Just keep fighting, get it all out of the way, then move on. And as I said, you can always come back. You can always come back to fighting someone. If there's someone locally who, everyone's talking about and they challenge you, take the challenge. Silly not to. Take the challenge. You've got something to lose. Learn how to deal with that pressure. And then you move on to the next level, which is going throughout the country, going nationally. Once again, you should be trying to, I've mentioned it before, cleaning out your country before your focus is overseas fighters. But I wanted it to be from the first 2 stages of your career, which is C and B class. C class, have your goal to get the padding off. But once you've got the padding off, don't put it back on. That should be a definite. You stay there, boom, all right, now I'm a B class, smash some B class fights out the way. If there is no place for it, it doesn't quite work, you don't get to have the B class fights, that's fine as well. That's that one class that you can skip. But clean out locally. I'm going to say it over and over and over again. Clean out your local domestic area first. There's usually, SA is a pretty quiet state when it comes to Muay Thai. Obviously states like Queensland are hectic. There's so many people. Cool. Means you have more fights. You get way more fights before you get to, step onto the national level. New South Wales, in most weight divisions, have a good number of fighters. Victoria has a good number of fighters. WA has a good number of fighters also. So yeah, focus on that. Trainers, keep a lid on you guys. Make sure that you're guiding them the right way. You're complimenting them when they do the right thing, whether it be a win or a loss. You're stern on them when they do the wrong thing. If they make that same mistake again, they deserve a bit of punishment, whether it be not fighting again, whatever, not fighting again for a period of time, whatever it happens to be. But yeah, I've spoken over and over and over again about what the next levels are when you do the national thing, you go for a national title, So don't need to stress too much about that bit. But your first goal when you become a fighter should be make your trainer happy in your first amateur fights, and then you should quickly be turning to wanting to take the padding off as your next goal. Hope everyone loves that today. I'm looking forward to doing my next episode. I will have another guest on for next week. I'm really enjoying this. The numbers seem to be doing okay online as well, which is cool, on YouTube. Once again, please like, subscribe, comment down below what you want me to talk about, some more subjects. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying it. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you again next week. Kapun Kap.